the haunted house of the Peron family. In 1971, the Peron family, Roger and Caroline Peron, and their 5 daughters moved into an old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. The isolated house dates back to the 18th century, and the family did not know at the time that the farmhouse had a horrific history filled with tragedy. The beginning of the strange events, it wasn't long before strange things began to happen in the house. The family would hear footsteps upstairs, notice things disappearing, and smell foul odors for no reason. Most terrifyingly, doors would close and open by themselves, and furniture would move from its place as if it were being pushed by an invisible force. Evil spirits and terrifying events. Over time, the strange phenomena became more severe. The family reported seeing ghosts in distinct forms, some gentle and harmless, while others were very aggressive. One of the spirits that baffled the family was a woman named Bachepa, an alleged witch who lived on the farm in the 19th century. She was said to have offered her child as a sacrifice to the devil and committed suicide under mysterious circumstances. The family felt that Bathsheba was responsible for all the horrific events. Caroline, the mother, was the most affected. She suffered mysterious wounds as if she had been stabbed with needles, and sometimes lost control of herself and acted in strange ways. Calling in the spirit experts. After things reached an unbearable point, the family decided to call in 2 of the most famous paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. After extensive investigation, the Warrens confirmed that the house was indeed haunted by an evil spirit, and they believed Bathsheba was the cause. They tried to perform an exorcism, but it did not work at all, and only made things worse. End of story. The family continued to suffer for years before they were finally able to sell the house and move to another place. Even though they left, the memories of what happened in that house continued to haunt them. The story inspired the makers of the 2013 film The Conjuring, but the real events are even more terrifying than what was shown in the film. What happened after the exorcism ritual? When Ed and Lorraine Warren attempted an exorcism, the experience was extremely dangerous. During the ritual, the negative energy in the house exploded in a terrifying way. Caroline went into a violent frenzy, screaming in a voice that wasn't her own, and her body was being lifted off the ground as if something invisible was moving her. Ed Warren later recounted that the evil spirit was resisting fiercely and was not ready to leave. As for the girls, they hid in one of the rooms, hearing the sounds of screaming and things breaking, while doors and windows shook violently. The escalation of the tragedy. After the ritual failed, the evil spirit became more aggressive. Carolyn, the mother, was the main victim. She always felt like someone was watching her, and she would see black shadows suddenly appear in the corners of the house. One night she woke up to find the bed shaking violently, and she felt 2 hands pressing on her neck as if someone was trying to strangle her. The father, Roger Peron, tried hard to protect his family, but he felt helpless in the face of this mysterious force. One time he saw a chair move by itself quickly across the room, almost hitting one of his children. The children and the evil spirit. The children suffered too. One of the daughters, Andrea, would see the ghost of a woman standing by her bed at night, staring at her without moving. Sometimes she would feel a cold hand touching her hair or pulling the blanket off her. The younger sister, Cindy, began to talk about hearing voices whispering to her from within the walls, saying, "There are 7 funerals here." This statement prompted the family to investigate the history of the house further, and they discovered that the farm had been the scene of a large number of mysterious deaths. At least 7 people were said to have died in or near the house, including suicides, hangings, and murders. Fleeing the house. Despite attempts to exorcise the evil spirits, the family was unable to completely rid themselves of the spirit activity. The terrifying events continued for years, and daily life became a constant nightmare. Eventually, the family decided to sell the house and leave. But this was not easy, as rumors of the house being haunted were well known, making it difficult to find a buyer. When they finally left the house, they said they felt like they had escaped from a dark prison. But the experience never left them, especially Caroline, who suffered from nightmares and psychological symptoms for a long time after they left. What happened to the house after that? After the Peron family left, the house remained haunted by its bad reputation. The new owners could not live in it for long, as some reported that they also encountered strange phenomena. Eventually, the house became a destination for ghost story enthusiasts and paranormal researchers. When Andrea Peron, one of the family's daughters, was asked about what happened, she said, "What happened? Life after leaving the house in 1980, the Peron family tried to get their lives back on track, but the horrific memories kept haunting them. Caroline, the mother, suffered from depression and chronic anxiety as a result of what she had experienced. As for the daughters, some of them needed psychological treatment due to the nightmares that dominated their dreams, especially Andrea, who said that she had recurring visions of the events that took place in the house. Andrea later wrote a series of books called The House of Darkness, in which she detailed what the family had experienced. She emphasized in her writings that what they had experienced was not just imagination or delusions, but an undeniable, terrifying reality. Attempts to find an explanation. As the story became more popular thanks to the Conjuring movies, many researchers and those interested in paranormal phenomena began to visit the house. Some of them wanted to check if it was still haunted. One of the teams that visited the place in the following years said that they felt unexplained energies. They reported hearing footsteps, a sudden drop in temperature, and even seeing objects moving on their own. However, some critics have tried to downplay the veracity of the story, claiming that some of the events may have been exaggerated or that they were the result of the family's imagination due to psychological stress. However, the testimonies of the family members, especially Andrea, remained consistent and unchanged, which gave the story more credibility. New owners of the house. The house has long been a subject of interest. In 2019, it was purchased by a couple named Corey and Jennifer Heinzen, who are interested in paranormal phenomena. They said they felt a strange energy in the place, but they insisted that the spirits in it were not evil, as previously reported. The couple opened the doors of the house to visitors and thrill seekers, allowing them to spend the night in the farmhouse to explore the mystery surrounding it. Some visitors reported encountering strange situations, such as hearing whispers, seeing shadows moving, and even feeling invisible touches. Open ending, the story of the Peron house is still considered one of the most controversial and terrifying stories in history. Some see it as confirmation of the existence of supernatural forces, while others see it as just a series of psychological events caused by disturbed minds and misunderstandings. What remains true is that the farm in Harrisville will always remain a symbol of mystery and horror, and its story will continue to be told for generations as one of the most terrifying tales faced by a real family